Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 11, 16. Evam pravartate sargaḥ sthitiḥ saṁyama evam cha guṇa-vyatikarād rājan māyayā paramātmanaḥ evaṁ pravartate sargaḥ sthitiḥ saṁyama eva ca guṇa-vyatikarād rājan māyayā paramātmanaḥ evaṁ pravartate sargaḥ sthitiḥ saṁyama eva ca guṇa-vyatikarād rājan māyayā paramātmanaḥ evaṁ pravartate sargaḥ sthitiḥ saṁyama eva ca guṇa-vyatikarād rājan māyayā paramātmanaḥ evaṁ pravartate sargaḥ sthitiḥ saṁyama eva ca guṇa-vyatikarād rājan māyayā paramātmanaḥ evaṁ pravartate sargaḥ sthitiḥ saṁyama eva ca guṇa-vyatikarād rājan māyayā paramātmanaḥ evaṁ pravartate sargaḥ sthitiḥ saṁyama eva ca guṇa-vyatikarād rājan māyayā paramātmanaḥ evaṁ pravartate sargaḥ sthitiḥ saṁyama eva ca guṇa-vyatikarād rājan māyayā paramātmanaḥ Mataji.
evaṁ pravartate sargaḥ sthitiḥ saṁyama eva ca guṇa-vyatikarād rājan māyayā paramātmanaḥ evaṁ pravartate sargaḥ sthitiḥ saṁyama eva ca guṇa-vyatikarād rājan māyayā paramātmanaḥ
Evam, thus, pravartate, occurs, sargaḥ, creation, sthitiḥ, maintains, saṁyama, annihilation, evam, certainly, cha, and guṇa, of the modes, vyatikarāt, by interaction, rājan, O king, māyayā, by the illusory energy, paramātmanaḥ, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Manu continued, "My dear King Dhruva, it is simply by the illusory material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by the interaction of the three modes of material nature that creation, maintenance, and annihilation take place." Please repeat after me. Manu continued, "My dear King Dhruva, it is simply by the illusory material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead It is simply by the illusory material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by the interaction of the three modes of material nature that creation, maintenance, and annihilation take place. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. First, creation takes place with the ingredients of the five elements of material nature. Then, by the interaction of the modes of material nature, maintenance also takes place. When a child is born, the parents immediately see to its maintenance. The tendency for maintenance of offspring is present not only in human society, but in animal society as well. Even tigers care for their calves, although their propensity is to eat other animals. By the interaction of the material modes of nature, creation, maintenance, and also annihilation take place inevitably. But at the same time, we should know that all is conducted under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything is going on under that process. Creation is the action of the Rajaguna, the mode of passion. Maintenance is the action of Sattva-guna, the mode of goodness. And annihilation is the action of Tama-guna, or the mode of ignorance. We can see that those who are situated in the mode of goodness live longer than those who are situated in Tama-guna or Rajaguna. In other words, if one is elevated to the mode of goodness, he is elevated to a higher planetary system, where the duration of life is very great. Urdhvam gachanti shaktastha. Great rishis, sages, and sannyasis who maintain themselves in Sattva-guna, or the mode of material goodness, are elevated to a higher planetary systems. Those who are transcendental, even to the material modes of nature, are situated in the mode of pure goodness. They attain eternal life in the spiritual world. Om Shri Chaitanya Swayam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Guru Shri Rupam Sargaḥ Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanam Krishna Shri Radha Krishna He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatahe Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastava Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Evam pravartate sargaḥ, sthitiḥ saṁyama evacha, guṇa-vyatikarād rājan, māyayā paramātmanaḥ. Manu continued, my dear King Dhruva, it is simply by the illusory material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by the interaction of the three modes of material nature that creation, maintenance and annihilation take place. So, Dhruva Maharaj got into a big fight with the Jakshas because his brother Uttama was killed by them. When he got that news, he immediately went and alone he fought with an endless army of Jakshas. He was slaughtering them all. So this is the power of a Kshatriya warrior. But then the Jakshas created an illusion on him. He saw that the waves of the ocean were just rushing towards him. And then from all around there was a sandstorm, a massive sandstorm. It was all created by the illusory energy or illusory trick of the Jakshas. And in a way, Dhruva Maharaj for a moment he was little perturbed with this sudden attack. Actually this attack has been going on time and time again. Like when the Jakshas attacked him, so many of them that it seemed that Dhruva Maharaj had been defeated. He was completely covered over by them and their weapons. The weapons are falling on them in such huge amount, huge quantity. But Dhruva Maharaj immediately got himself composed and he started to counteract their attack. And then he used the Narayanastra, and as a result of that onslaught, the Jakshas were defeated. But when the Jakshas were defeated, I mean, meaning not only defeated, they all were slaughtered. Their heads were, millions of heads were scattered all over. Just one person fighting against the Jakshas. But then they used the illusory trick. And in that illusory trick, Dhruva Maharaj didn't know how to counteract for the time being. But then, when the sages saw that Dhruva Maharaj was being overpowered by the illusory tricks of the Jakshas, then the sages, the rishis, they came to his support, came to his help. And they told him, look, this is the illusory energy, the illusory trick of the Jakshas. So, counteract it with your spiritual potency, taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when Dhruva Maharaj did that, then that illusory tricks of the Jaksha were immediately counteracted. And then Dhruva Maharaj started to win. With renewed vigor and vengeance, he started to So he killed so many Jakshas that it was practically all the Jaksha community was practically wiped out. So at that time, Manu, Dhruva's grandfather, came and told him that, look, you should not necessarily kill the Jaksha. And this is how Manu is advising Dhruva Maharaj. He is giving him the actual spiritual understanding. Actually, when one becomes situated on the spiritual platform, he transcends this material nature of duality. The duality of pleasure and pain, fame and infamy. And he pointed out that a devotee is generally compassionate and forgiving. So here Manu continued his advice that, my dear Dhruva, my dear King Dhruva, it's simply by the illusory material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by the interaction of the three modes of material nature that creation, maintenance and annihilation takes place. The material nature is created, material nature is maintained, and then material nature is annihilated. This is the material phenomenon, the characteristic of the material nature. It has a beginning, it has an end. And in between the beginning and end, there is this duration, sustenance. Whereas the spiritual nature, there is no beginning and no end. So in the creation and annihilation and maintenance of this material nature take place by the three modes of material nature, prakrite kriyamanani, guṇa-vyatikarād. In this material nature, everything happens according to the three modes of material nature and karma. This material nature is endowed with these three modes. Material nature has three modes. Guna-mahi, the gunas, three modes of material nature, is conducting different affairs of the material. And the living entity has his karma. Living entity is subjected by his karma. He acts, and as a result of that, he gets the reaction of his action. So these two things are making everything happen in the material nature. And how does the creation take place? Creation takes place due to the mode of passion. Maintenance is done by the mode of goodness. This is how these three modes act. Through Rajaguna, mode of passion, creation takes place. Through Sattva-guna, the maintenance is conducted. And through Tamoguna, the annihilation or destruction takes place. Creation, maintenance. Whereas the spiritual nature is beyond these characteristics of this material. The spiritual nature is simply in the mode of goodness. There is no passion and ignorance in the spiritual world. Therefore, in the spiritual world, there is no creation and destruction. Everything is eternal. And everything is existing forever. And everything is most wonderfully maintained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is no room for rājan. So in a way, Manu is giving the instruction to Dhruva that in the material nature everything has a beginning and everything has an end. Your brother died, it was due to his karmic reaction. Jakshas were the nimittas. They were the apparent reason. But the real reason of their death, or everyone's death, or everything that happens to us, is simply due to guṇa. There is no room for thinking or becoming so agitated, becoming so vengeful, revengeful, that, oh, you killed my brother, so I will take revenge. So that is not appropriate, especially for a devotee. Because a devotee sees things from a broader perspective. He sees things like this happening, karmic reaction. That we see in the nature, in the characteristics of the devotees, like Yudhishthira Maharaj. Although apparently Yudhishthira Maharaj lost everything, just in a few hours' time he lost his entire kingdom. He performed Rajasuya Yajna, and thus he actually was established as the ruler, the king of the entire planet. The entire earth planet belonged to him. His court, his sabhagriha, was so gorgeous that when Narada Muni was asked if there was any such thing, any such assembly hall anywhere in this planet, Narada Muni said, no, not in this earth planet. In the universe, there are 4 other places where the 4 other sabhagrihas, assembly halls that can be compared to this assembly hall of yours. There, the assembly hall of Indra, assembly hall of Jamaraj, assembly hall of Kubera, and assembly hall of Varuna. In such opulence, he had the most powerful army headed by his 4 other brothers, Bhim, Arjuna, Nakul, Sahadev. And in few hours' time, in a deceitful gambling match, in a deceitful game of gambling, he lost everything, including his wife. And his wife was brought into the public assembly and humiliated in a most abominable way. But what was Yudhishthira Maharaj's reaction to that? I can't blame him. I have to just blame myself. It's my karma and it is Krishna's will. Because without Krishna's will, nothing can happen. Without Krishna's approval, nothing can happen. So I have to accept that this was Krishna's arrangement. And actually it was Krishna's arrangement. It's a part of Krishna's pastime. Through these pastimes, Krishna is establishing the glory of his devotee. What a devotee is like. And what he does for his devotees. Although the devotee may go through so many material difficulties, but devotees are not affected by that, and the devotees are simply protected by Krishna, no matter in which of the situation they may be. And we saw that they were in the forest, but they were surrounded by exalted saintly devotees, saintly personalities. When Yudhishthira Maharaj was leaving, all the brahmanas, Yudhishthira Maharaj used to feed 16,000 brahmanas every day. And not only used to feed them every day, he used to feed them in golden plates, plates made of gold, solid gold. The bowls made of solid gold, glasses made of solid gold. This is how he used to take care of them. But Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, please don't come with us. I won't be able to maintain you. They said, doesn't matter, we are brahmanas. We are used to hardship. We are used to starving. If there is no food, we starve. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was compelled now to allow the brahmanas to come. The brahmana assured him, don't worry about our maintenance. We don't depend upon anybody for our maintenance. We simply want to be with you. And the brahmanas recommended. Now you consider which situation is better. To be in a palace surrounded by a bunch of idiots, or to be in a forest in the midst of the most exalted devotees of the Lord. Which situation is better? So were the Pandavas suffering or enjoying? And then they had so many wonderful times also. Sometimes some Rakshasas will attack and will kill them. He was so powerful that alone, single-handedly deal with it. So although they were in the middle of the forest, they were not affected by any hardship. They were enjoying. So that is what happens with the devotee. No matter in whichever situation he may be in, he simply enjoys. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is taking care of him all the time. Whereas a materialistic person, no matter where, in what kind of situation, in what kind of opulent environment he may be in, he is in constant anxiety. He is always in anxiety. Because he cannot depend upon the Supreme. He cannot depend upon anybody. He simply depends upon his own resources. And he always tries to make arrangements for his resources. So, Manu advised Dhruva Maharaj that look, in this material nature, whatever is happening is due to the three modes of material nature and the karma of the living entity. So do not become so affected, so much affected. These happen. Your brother will die. Ultimately everybody will die. So this is also the happening of this material nature. By the divine arrangement of the Supreme Personality. Everything is going on under that process, meaning by the in the mode of creation is taking place in the mode of due to rājan. Maintenance is going on due to the influence of sattva. and annihilation is taking place due to the effect of tamoguna. Now in this way, we can see Brahma is creating. Who is maintaining? Vishnu is maintaining through the mode of goodness. And Lord Shiva is destroying with the influence of Tama. Now this way we can see who is the actual proprietor. Is the builder the actual proprietor? Something is going to be constructed. Somebody does it, somebody builds it. Is the builder the actual owner? The contractor the actual owner of the building? He has been assigned by the owner of the land. He has been given the money. Okay. You build a house. And then when the house is built, who utilizes the house? Who lives in that building? The owner. And the owner maintains. Because he lives there, he maintains. So, who is the owner then? Vishnu is the owner. Brahma is not the owner. Brahma is not the proprietor. Vishnu is the proprietor. And then when the building becomes old, then there is a department called demolition. They come and destroy the building. So is he the owner? Naturally not. So Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Brahma is creating, Brahma is constructing, not creating, constructing in the mode of passion. Ingredients are all given by the Lord. Steel, cement, bricks. Who buys them? Vishnu. And he gives it to the contractor. And the contractor comes with his labor force. So, contractor is the taking care of the construction. But then, Vishnu maintains. He maintains this thing, he doesn't maintain because he has to live here. This material nature is like a prison house. Who is the owner of the prison? The king is the owner of the prison. Does the owner live in the prison? The owner doesn't live in the prison. He lives in his palace. The king lives in his palace. But he creates the thing, prison, for whom? The prison is created or built because of the criminals. So if this material nature is the prison house, then who are the criminals? We are the criminals. And why is a criminal put into the prison and punished? To rectify his defective mentality. So we are in this material nature to rectify our defective mentality. What is the defect in our mentality? The defect of our mentality is that we are thinking that we are the enjoyer, we are the proprietor, we are the Lord of our Everything belongs to me. But does everything belong to us? So if something doesn't belong to you and you try to enjoy it, then what becomes your situation? You become a thief. What is the definition of stealing? How many of you know the definition of stealing? The definition, yes?
To take something without the permission of the owner.
Very good. Na bolia operate to take things without the permission of the owner. If you take it without the permission of the owner, isn't it? Now, who is the owner of this world? And how you are taking these things in material nature? Do they recognize that everything belongs to Krishna? Generally people think that everything belongs to him or at the most his father. His father's property. And he is rightfully in charge. So that is the situation of the living entities in the material situation. Now, because he has done that, he is being punished in the material nature. But when he realizes that everything belongs to, who does everything belong to? And he takes it with the permission of Krishna, then what happens? Then is he stealing anymore? No. Then he becomes rightfully situated. Everything belongs to Krishna, and let us take it, let us accept it with Krishna's permission. Krishna Varadayamai, Kodibare Jivbhajai, Shaprashad. Very mercifully Krishna has given his prasad. So accept everything as Krishna's prasad without thinking that everything belongs to him. And not only that, then you get to know that the proprietor of this, of everything, is actually your father. Everything belongs to Krishna and Krishna is your father. Tashang Brahma Mahajyoni Aham Bijo. Then will you have any difficulty accepting him and accepting things with his permission? Do you feel bad to go to your father and say, Father, can I have this? Rather, you feel happy to do that. And your father feels also happy that you needed something and you are asking for that from him. So that is the lesson that we are meant to learn in this prison house of this material nature. Everything belongs to Krishna and Krishna is our Father. And whatever we need, will Krishna provide? Yes, He will. He is providing. Now isn't it a wonderful realization? Everything belongs to Krishna and Krishna is my Father. Some may think that Krishna is his father, some will think, oh no. Even more advanced stages, Krishna is my friend. Even more advanced stages, Krishna is my son. Then you don't want to take from him, but you want to give it to him. If I don't give it to Krishna, then Krishna will starve. And that is the feeling, that's the relationship. So in this way, one has the facility to develop some beautiful loving relationship with Krishna. So material nature, therefore, although can be seen as a prison house, it can also be seen as a hospital. Why does one go to the hospital? Do people go to the hospital normally? Sometimes they go to see the patients. But who live in the hospital? It's the patients. Patients are in the hospital to get cured. So similarly, we are also suffering from a disease, and material nature is a hospital where the disease can be cured. And in another way, it can also be seen as a school. Why does one go to school? To learn something. So the material nature is a place where we learn something. What do we learn in this material nature? We learn that everything belongs to Krishna, and Krishna is everything. Krishna is the supreme well-wisher of everyone. Suridam sarvabhutana. Krishna is the Suhid, the dearmost friend of everyone. And although Ishavashyam idam sarvam, everything belongs to Krishna, but at the same time, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Bhoktaram Jagatapusa, Sarvaloko. But at the same time, he is Surinam Sarvabhutana. He is the dearmost friend of everyone. So that is Krishna's identity, that is Krishna's situation. And to know that is the ultimate knowledge. And then the living entities, when they develop that relationship with Krishna, he becomes freed from the material bondage and goes back to the spiritual. The more one becomes aware of this fact, closer he goes to get Krishna. The more we become aware of this relationship, the closer we will go to the spiritual. And the more we forget Krishna, the more we go away from the spiritual sky. More we are in ignorance, the more we get into the hellish condition. The more we become situated in knowledge, the more we go into the divine condition. Hellish condition is the region of darkness, divine condition is the region of light. And then ultimately, we become situated in the spiritual sky. And Prabhupada in the purport at the end is making a very nice point. Prabhupada is saying that more one is in Sattva-gun, the longer will become the duration of his life. Like in Earth planet, 24 hours makes a day. In the heavenly planet, 1 year makes a day. 6 months is night and 6 months is day. 1 year is one complete. And when you go to the planet of Brahma, then what? At least in the heavenly planet, 1 year is a day. But in Brahma's planet, 1000 Chatur-yuga is a day. So we can see that higher we go, longer becomes the duration. But when you go to the spiritual sky, then it is eternal. Even 1000 Chatur-yuga, even a day of Brahma becomes insignificant. Because there everything is eternally present. There is no past and future. Suddha Sattva means Nitya Vartama, eternally present. That is the spiritual. So, here we are getting all this information. That's why these books are so important. By reading these books, which are actually the essence of the Vedic wisdom, presented by Srila Prabhupada, which is Bhakti-vedanta purport, these books are so important, giving us the information of the spiritual sky, the knowledge of the spiritual sky. The other day we were discussing about this point. Like, how important is this knowledge? Apparently it's a book, but what is there in the book? It's something like, if somebody tells you that there is such and such building in such and such street, in that building, in a safe, there is 1,000 crores of rupees sitting there, and the key of the safe is in such and such place. They are all written, right? It's just in writing it is. In Bharatpuri, plot number 36, there is a building, and in that building, in such and such floor, there is 1,000 crores of rupees lying in a vault, in a safe. And the key is in such and such room. When you get the paper, what will you do? Just find out whether Bharatpuri is, where plot number 36 is, and then you go and you see that in such and such place the key is there. When you find the key, what will you do? Take the key and fit it in the wall and you open it. When you open it, what do you see? Then what are you going to do? Anyway, everybody. You will engage it, you will use it very nicely in Krishna's service. So, but you see, like it is, the actual thing is there, but how did you get the information? In a piece of paper. So similarly, these books are there. It's giving the information of such wealth that 1,000 crores of rupees become completely insignificant. 1,000 crores of rupees appear to be like a speck of dust. Then you just trample on it. That is there. So can you imagine how important these books are? These books are giving us the information of the spiritual sky. By reading the books, are you getting to know where the spiritual sky is? By reading the book, are you becoming sure that there is a thing called spiritual sky? Yes. How many of you believe that there is a spiritual sky? Oh, very good. Now you know that the spiritual sky is there. What is the next step? Isn't it to find out where it is? Where is it? You find out where it is. And when you find out where it is, then what is the next step? How to go there. Or maybe there is another step in between. Where is it? That is the second step. The third step is, what is there? What is there? And then when you find out that there is something that is very, very interesting, very important, then won't you want to go there? Now if you want to go there, then what would be your next consideration? how to go there. And then when you find out how to go there, then what do you do? Say for example, you know how to go to Delhi. In how many ways you can go to Delhi? Huh? At least 3 ways. There's a 4th way. The 4th way is paidal. So there are 3 ways or 4 ways or some ways. Now going to find out the easiest way. So when you find out the easiest way, then you do what do? You buy the ticket. Huh? You have to go by, so you want to go by plane. So you have to buy the ticket. So then you have to find out where to buy the ticket, how to buy the ticket. So all these informations are there in this book. So what we have to do, what we all have to do, apply this process in our lives. And don't get deviated by it. And the way not to get deviated, how can we remain fixed and not get deviated? By remaining in proper association. Proper association means association of devotees. The books are there. Now, the books are not enough. In order to understand the books, you need teachers. So you have to find the proper teachers who are going to explain these books. And Prabhupada is that teacher because these books are coming with his Bhakti Vedanta. So read Prabhupada's books and Prabhupada's purport. Reading Prabhupada's purport means hearing from Prabhupada. And then, if you have any question, then go to the devotees, advanced devotees, and ask questions. And then remain in the association of devotees in order to remain fixed up. Okay? Does anybody have any question?
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for your class. Maharaj, I had a little confusion. As you said that everything takes place because of the combination of modes of nature and karma. So, I want to ask that whether it is the prime cause is the karma of a living entity, accordingly he gets a mentality.
The time is the foundation, or the time is the base on which the whole material nature is established. The time factor is one of the first elements in creation. Krishna himself appeared as time. Right? We are sitting here, Mahakal. Right? What does Mahakal mean?
Great time.
Great time. And that great time is Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the glance of Mahavishnu. So we know due to the glance of Mahavishnu, the material nature became manifest. So what is the foundation of that? It's an expansion of Shankarshan. So time is there, but apparently what is happening is the modes and action. Whatever you do is in the modes. Some actions are in mode of goodness, some are in the mode of passion, some are in the mode of ignorance. And accordingly, there will be resultant reaction. Let me see the questions from the internet, or rather TV. Dandavat Pranam, Guru Maharaj. It is difficult to see how everything is being carried out by the three modes and I am not the doer. How does guna and karma interact and produce an effect? Please elaborate. Does pure devotees like Dhruva Maharaj also sometimes get affected by these modes? Good. So the question is, first part of the question is, how everything is being carried out by the three modes, and how does guna and karma interact and produce an effect? You see, Prakriti is endowed with three modes. Sattva-gun, Raja-gun, Tama-gun. And whatever you do is happening due to your attitude of that action, or due to the modes you are acting. Or your actions are in different modes. An example can be given. You are riding on a bicycle. Now say you are crossing the street. Right? Manu se nikla, bahar gaya. You just stepped out of the temple, came onto the road. You did not look carefully, and a cycle came and hit you. Now the person who is in the mode of ignorance, what he'll do? He'll start crying. Another person who is in a mode of passion, what he'll do? He'll find he'll get hold of that cyclist and start hitting him. And the person in the mode of goodness, what he'll do? He'll just dust off the dust and he'll say, don't worry, sorry, it was my fault. So now as you are acting, this is creating reaction. According to, see the reaction of somebody who just said, okay, it's my mistake, I did not look at it, and doesn't do anything to the cyclist. And a person who got into a fight with a cyclist. Will the result be the same of their actions? When the person who in the mode of passion beats up the cyclist also beats him up. Or if he can't beat him up, then he calls the dada of that area. Comes with his gang and he starts to beat him up. Mode of passion leads to more suffering. Mode of goodness leads to and mode of ignorance leads to pain. So this is how the guna and karma interact. Does pure devotee like Dhruva Maharaj also sometimes get affected by these modes? You see, the one thing with the pure devotee doesn't act himself. Pure devotee simply acts as a puppet in the hands of Krishna. Therefore, he is simply subjected to what Krishna wants. Like for example, Arjuna is fighting the battle. Is Arjuna fighting in Rajaguna? No, why not? Because he is acting, we have seen in Bhagavad Gita that Nashta moha smriti labdha tat prasadan mayachita. Then what's the third line? Sthitosmi gata sandeha karishya vachanam. I will do whatever you want me to. Meaning, I will act according to your. So is he acting in the mode of material modes, or is he acting according to Krishna's will? So that is the thing. Although apparently it appears that he is fighting in the mode of passion, but no, it is transcendental. His situation is transcendental. Here also we have to see that Dhruva Maharaj is fighting, he is not fighting with his passion. A pure devotee like Dhruva Maharaj is simply acting as an agent of Krishna, as a puppet in the hand of Krishna. Okay, there is a big question from Ankit Vora, USA. Hare Krishna, Ankit. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. When we are not properly situated in Krishna consciousness, we sometimes feel the service assigned to us unsatisfying. When we are not properly situated in Krishna consciousness, we sometimes feel that the service assigned to us is unsatisfying. And we keep on hankering from one service to another. For example, getting out with devotees on streets for book distribution and Harinam is a very pleasing service to Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whereas some hardship service like pot washing, temple kitchen cleaning, sweeping and mopping the floor, etc. may or may not be so pleasing and satisfying due to our immature consciousness. Prabhupada often used to say that a sweeper of temple floor is doing as important service as a preacher. So please help us to understand, to come out of this duality and getting satisfied. Okay. So the secret of being delighted through service is to recognize that it is going to please Krishna. So here again we are left with two options. When you are rendering service, are you going to think of yourself or you are going to think of Krishna? If you think of yourself, then it is Maya. If you think of Krishna, it is devotional service. Isn't that the difference between Maya and devotional service, material and spiritual? When you put ourselves in the center, then it is material. When you put Krishna in the center, then it is spiritual. Right? Now, when you are thinking, I like to do this or I do not like to do this, where are you? It's a material life. But when you think of Krishna, that I am doing this for Krishna's pleasure, is Krishna going to be pleased with my service? Is Krishna going to really appreciate what I am doing? Or will Krishna be upset with the way I am conducting him? When you are thinking in that way, then where are you? Okay, then does it matter what you are doing? When you are constantly thinking about, oh, I am cleaning the floor, is it clean enough for Krishna's pleasure? I am distributing books. The way I am approaching people, is that pleasing Krishna? I am cooking prasad. When I am cooking this, is it going to please Krishna? Then is there any difference between what you are doing? When you are cleaning the floor, distributing book, or cooking the Rajbhog? So that is the difference. Don't consider whether you like to do it or not. Rather be obsessed with whether Krishna is going to be pleased with what you do. Srivanga Mohan Das from Pune. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for coming for His Holiness Radhan Maharaj's Vyas Puja yesterday. Your presence made it more auspicious. Thank you, Srivanga Mohan. हिंदी में क्वेश्चन है किशोरी देवीदास जी। आदरणीय गुरु महाराज जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। गुरु महाराज जी, आपने पूछा है कि हम गुण कर्म अनुसार जन्म लेते हैं। प्रश्न, गुरु महाराज जी, एक तरफ कोशिश कर रही साधना भक्ति की, चैंटिंग, हियरिंग, रीडिंग की, और दूसरी तरफ मुझे बहुत बहुत क्रोध भी आता है। भक्तों के प्रति अपराध भी होते हैं। तो आप बताओ मैं क्या करूं? मैं क्रोध को संभालूं? तो जो ये पूछ जब रही हो, तो ये क्या ठीक है या गलत है? ये क्रोध होना, अगर सोचते हो कि क्रोध होना ठीक है तो करते रहो। बात ये है कि जो कर रही हो भक्ति के लिए, सेवा, चैंटिंग, रीडिंग, ये करते रहो। करते करते वो भौतिक जगत का जो ये है, भौतिक जगत का जो प्रभाव है वो खत्म। भक्ति करते रहो, सब ठीक है। बच्चे पर तो क्रोध नहीं करती, बच्चे ऊपर क्रोध नहीं करते, बच्चे के लिए सिर्फ प्यार, ठीक है। और भगवान के प्रति भी क्रोध। हरे कृष्ण। गौर प्रेमानंदे। श्रील प्रभुपाद।